Welcome to The Real with Joe Clark. Around here, history isn't just dates and names, it's stories. Stories whispered, forgotten, or buried for a reason. And today, we're bringing them back, just as they happened. So sit back, listen close, and let's step into the past. Hi friends, and welcome back to The Real with Joe Clark, where today we will wrap up our series on the late Ritchie Valens. Over the past two episodes, we've talked about something that sits right on the edge. Dreams, encounters, unexplained moments. A woman who believed she was being contacted by the late Ritchie Valens, and a series of connections that reached into the real world. And then I shared something personal, a moment I cannot fully explain. So tonight, we ask the question that matters most. What is this, really? Let's start with the paranormal explanation, because for many people, this is simple. They believe that when someone dies, they don't just disappear. They believe that consciousness continues, that personality remains, and in certain cases, especially sudden deaths, young deaths, and traumatic deaths, something lingers. By that line of thinking, a 17-year-old like Ritchie Valens, gone at the height of his life, would be exactly the kind of person whose presence might still be felt. Some believe spirits are drawn to emotional energy, memory, music, people who are open or receptive. The late psychic medium Karen Lundegard suggested that Ritchie's spirit seemed to stay close, not just to family, but to those who genuinely connected with him. Not casual listeners, but people who felt something deeper when they heard his music. In that framework, Chantel's experiences make sense. The dreams, the coincidences, the moment in the bedroom, even the feeling of presence, it all fits. But now let's look at the other side, because there is another side, and it deserves just as much attention. And from a psychological standpoint, every part of this story has an explanation, not a dismissal, an explanation. Let's start with the dreams. Dreams are where the brain processes emotion, memory, obsession, curiosity. If you immerse yourself in someone's life, you read about them, you listen to their music, you think about them constantly, your mind will build them into your dream world. Not because they are visiting you, but because your brain is working through them. Now let's look at the coincidences. Yes, there is coincidences. Meeting the right people, finding connections, running into someone tied to history. It feels meaningful because it is meaningful to you. But statistically, in a world of millions of people, connections happen, especially when you are actively looking. And then there's the big one, that feeling, like someone is there, not seen, not heard, just felt. Science actually has a term for this, a sensed presence. It's been documented in extreme isolation, stress, emotional environments, even perfectly healthy individuals. Your brain, under certain conditions, can generate the very real sensation that someone is nearby. No ghost required. So where does that leave us? Two very different explanations, both with valid points. And here's the truth. Most people don't land fully on one side or another. They land somewhere in the middle. Because experiences like this don't always feel like imagination. They feel personal, specific, meaningful, and that's where things get complicated. At its core, this isn't about ghosts, or science or proof. It's about something deeper. Connection. We don't like sudden endings. We don't like unfinished stories, especially when someone dies young. There's a part of us that wants to believe they're still out there somewhere, still aware, still present, still connected to us. Chantel believed she was helping Richie, helping him connect, helping him heal. A skeptic might say she was helping herself make sense of something powerful, and maybe both are true. So what do you believe? Was it a spirit reaching out across time, or a mind creating meaning from memory? Maybe the answer isn't as important as the question, because one thing is certain: music like Richie Valens created doesn't just disappear. It stays in memory, in emotion, in moments. And sometimes, when everything lines up just right, it feels like they are still here. Thank you for listening to The Real with Joe Clark. I hope you've enjoyed today's podcast. Before we go, I want to invite you over to my website, joeclarkonline.com, where you can pick up many of my books that I have written, including the one entitled Before the Music Died, the tragedy behind the day the music died. So that's again at my website, joeclarkonline.com. We hope to see you there, and until next time, take care. You've been listening to The Real with Joe Clark, where the stories are real and the past is never as far away as it seems. Until next time, keep listening, keep remembering, because history always leaves something behind.